Hello everyone, this is Mr. Bonilla here, the proud activities director here at Salina South Middle School. I am putting together this PowerPoint presentation to send to you as a chance for me to update you on several things that are going on for the 2020 and 21 school year. For those of you that have participated in South Middle School athletics before, this will be a great chance for me to talk to you a little bit about how COVID-19 will impact our athletics for the upcoming year. If you are new to South Middle School athletics, then I want to welcome you to athletics here at South Middle, welcome you to our program, and this PowerPoint will give you some information that will help you understand our policies and procedures for athletics here at South Middle School. First thing I want to talk about is our philosophy. For those of you that have been involved in athletics, you know our philosophy very well. For those of you that are new, it's important for you to understand, bullet point number 1, athletics is vital to the educational development of the student. We truly believe that sports and academics go hand in hand, and we really try to promote and teach life skills, things such as self-discipline, teamwork, grace in winning and losing, perseverance, pride, among many other things. We truly believe at South Middle School that success is not measured in wins and losses, but in our skill development and the growth of life skills. I also want families to know that participation is a privilege, it's not a right. And it carries with it a responsibility that we ask our athletes to have when it comes to the school and student body, responsibility to the community and families, to their team, the activity that they play in, and to themselves. So as you can see, we try to take a holistic approach to our athletics here at South Middle School. Communication, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be very important. You know as well as I do, especially in middle school, kids are going to have their good days and their bad days. They're going to come home sometimes on an emotional high and sometimes on an emotional low. And we ask that you have patience and grace and that you help teach your kids the best way to go approach their coach in communicating any issues of concerns. Ladies and gentlemen, your coaches are in the trenches. They're the ones that will be able to solve 98% of any issue. If your son or daughter, your child comes home with any concerns, please go to the coach first and teach them the appropriate way of advocating for themselves. If for whatever reason, on those rare occasions where the coach is unable to solve the problem, you can come to me and I will bring you, the coach, and the student together to see what we can do to solve the problem. On those very, very rare occasions where we can't solve the problem, you're always free to go to the principal and they'll bring us all together and we'll see what we can do then. Speaking of communication, as I mentioned earlier, I really want, look on that PowerPoint slide on the side there, numbers 1 through 4. Please encourage your student to advocate for themselves. Here at South Middle, at the middle school level, it's an appropriate time at this age for kids to learn how to go to an adult and express their concern. Now, you know as well as I do that some kids are better at that than others, so you may have to teach them the appropriate time. Meeting with a coach after a hard-fought game may not be the best time to do it. Also teach your kids to maybe wait 24 to 48 hours to let your emotions calm down before you go and approach a coach. Families, I have a good method that I really promote with our teachers that I'd like for you to consider in working with your child on approaching a coach. It's called the sandwich method, number 3. And what I like to focus on is kind of the bread, meat, and bread approach, kind of the good, the heart of the issue, followed by a positive. And what I mean by that is when you first want to approach a coach, teach your child to acknowledge the coach is working hard, acknowledge something positive about the coach, set the coach up for feeling good about themselves and not trying to attack right off the bat. As soon as you acknowledge their hard work, get into the heart of the issue. Exactly what is the issue? Is this child upset about their playing time? Did they have something that happened that just made them feel uncomfortable? And then at the very end, once you're able to communicate the issue and you allow the coach to respond, thank the coach, acknowledge their efforts, acknowledge that they're trying, because we all are trying, guys. We are all trying to do the best that we can And in this day and age, it's important that we have good communication between families and coaches in school. Also, families, we ask that you role model. This is a great chance for you to role model grace and patience, to role model appropriate ways of approaching adults, and teaching them times to approach people and the sandwich method. If you can help us do that, guys, we will have usually a more successful communications approach when it comes to problem solving and issues. Okay, speaking of communication, I want everyone to encourage everyone to go to our website. It is USD 305 southmiddleschool.com. And if you've been on the site before, and if you haven't, I encourage you to get on there. You'll notice at the very top of the website, there are several links that will drive you to much of the information that we are communicating here at South Middle School. If you click on the athletics tab, you'll notice a drop-down menu packed full of tons of information. You'll notice here that we have our COVID athletic protocols, which I'm going to talk about and highlight in just a moment. All the athletic participation forms that you're going to need to participate is on this link. For those kids that have a hard time getting started on time, it's usually because they didn't get a form signed or didn't get it turned in. So if you want your child to participate on time, August 31st, which I'll talk about in just a moment, go to the athletic participation forms and fill out all the forms there. You have your transportation release form, any information about impact testing, and all of the sports that we offer here at South Middle School. We even have an athletic calendar that needs to be updated because we've had changes in our schedule. We haven't updated it yet, but we will. You'll be able to see all of the sports, dates, and times for the upcoming year. Also, I would like to highlight that we are part of a new league this year. It's called the Wichita Suburban League. If you go to www.wichitasuburbanleague.org and you click on that, you will notice the website that looks like this. And on the right are all the schools that participate in our league. And I believe there are 14. Most of the schools are in the Wichita suburban area, thus the name. But we also compete against schools like McPherson and Newton and Hutchinson, in addition to good old Lakewood. If you click on Salina South Middle School, that link on the right-hand side, you'll be able to activate and get into the calendar, which eventually we will have all of our schedules uploaded. We've had to make changes, so we haven't been able to do that. But I also want to highlight a really unique feature here. If you notice, if you go to the right-hand side of the website and you go all the way down to this little gray area called Notify Me, if you click on that, that's really a unique feature that our league's website offers. You'll be able to create a username and password, and what the Notify Me feature will do is it will let you know of any upcoming changes to a schedule. It will let you know of any upcoming events for your activity that you are interested in, and any cancellations that may occur. So I really would like to highly recommend that you use the Notify Me feature in our website. As always, guys, I am going to push and promote that we become good ambassadors for our school and our community. As new members of the league, it's appropriate that we role model appropriate behavior, and we'll realize that when we go and travel, we represent Salina, your family, and South Middle. The next thing I'd like to talk about, which what many of you are very interested in, is COVID-19. How is that impacting athletics? Well, the first thing you need to understand that is we are getting information on a weekly basis, and it changes rapidly, and sometimes it can change on a dime. I am asking, ladies and gentlemen, that you give us grace and patience. We will do our best to keep you informed, and the coaches are going to do their best to keep you informed. Please know that if you are participating, if your student is enrolled for on-campus learning, whether we are in hybrid or full school mode, you can participate in sport. If your child is enrolled in remote learning, they will not be able to participate in sport for the semester. Our league has delayed the season. That's bullet point number 2. Please know this. Our league has delayed the season. Practices will not start until Monday, August 31st, and the first week of competition will start September 14th. Now, we will be sending you emails and promoting through social media Zoom parent meetings for each sport for the fall sports. They will be done within the next week or so. So please be looking out for an email, something posted on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook that will let you know when your fall sport parent meeting will be. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the third bullet here, safety will be our driving force for everything that we do here. Some of you, that's going to be a very important piece because we do want to keep our children safe and our athletes safe. For others, it may seem a little like overkill. But guys, we are going to follow COVID, the handbook by the book, by whatever the county says that we're going to do, we're going to do it. And this is for the safety of all of our kids, including our fans. Some other important pieces of information. Bullet number 1, we will screen all student athletes before we practice or play. This includes temperature checks. If a student is showing symptoms or they have a temperature of 100.4 or higher, they will be sent home and will not be allowed to come back without a doctor's note. I'm sorry, but that's what we're asking our coaches to do as guided by our county. Bullet point number 2, students will be asked to wear masks when participating in an activity. Coaches will determine if the activity is hard enough or exhausting enough where a mask will not be needed. Mainly if kids are going to be running, participating in drills, doing things that are extraneous, then they probably will not wear a mask. However, if they are on the sideline or if they're listening to a coach, then they will have the mask. Same thing with the coach. Bullet point number 3, if we have a positive case, we are going to rely on the health department to provide us with guidelines and next steps of who will be quarantined and how that will be done. Also, all team practices and scrimmages will be closed to the public. Parents, we ask that you wait in the parking lot for your student athlete to arrive and not hop onto the field to try to take pictures or listen in on what's going on. In addition, team meals and snacks before and after games must be pre-packaged. So we're going to ask our coaches to reinforce that. So please, parents, if you send some snacks with the kids, make sure they are pre-packaged foods. Also, masks will be worn by everybody traveling on district transportation. We are not getting any extra buses. We don't have those. So we're going to keep the amount of buses that we typically have for a normal sport season. That's what we're going to be using for this year as well. And the reason why I'm telling you that, guys, is we are going to encourage families to take their own students to and from an activity or a game. I am asking our coaches to have grace and be patient and encourage those families to take their students to and from the game. That means you will have to fill out a transportation form, which I'll show you here in just a moment. Also, ladies and gentlemen, team dinners and activities will not be allowed during the season. So please be patient and have grace with your coaches if they do not allow this. Please encourage your students to not share uniforms, towels, or apparel, and to label their water bottles so they do not get mixed up with other people's water bottles. Also, we have a new food and drink policy, guys. Food and drink will be allowed in our gyms this year. Please know, because of COVID-19, the concession stand will only be selling pre-packaged drinks and food. We will not offer hamburgers or hot dogs. It's only going to be those chips that are in sealed containers, candy bars, things of that nature. Also, we will allow you to bring your food and drink in the gym. However, for drinks, they must be in a twist top container. And we will have people that will be supervising and maybe addressing you if you're bringing in like a McDonald's cup top or things of that nature. Please make sure that there is a twist top to the container so that they don't spill on our floor and in the gym. Okay, athletic packet. If there is a reason why a student cannot participate, an athlete, it's typically because they don't have all their forms completed, and there are a lot of forms. You need not only a physical, but you need a parent consent form, emergency medical authorization form, a CASHA concussion release form, a transportation form that I just talked about earlier, and CASHA now has a COVID-19 questionnaire that needs to be filled out. Mr. Bonilla, where do I get all this information? You go to the website. That's very important. When you click on the website and you click on the athletics tab, you go down to this athletics participation forms link. You click on that and you will notice you'll have forms in English and in Spanish, plus the required questionnaire. Click on the forms in the language that you need, and you're going to have, as you can see here, 14 forms that have to be downloaded. You have your physical, you have your emergency forms. Here is that transportation form, guys, that I was talking about. This is what you'll need to have filled out if you want to take your child to and from the games. Your coaches have to have that on file. You'll have a whole bunch of other information that you'll need to make sure you print off and sign. I know it's a lot, guys. I apologize, but it is what CASHA asks us to have on file for each athlete. Insurance. We do not offer insurance as per district. And so therefore you are responsible for your students' medical bills if they break an arm, if they have a major injury, things of that nature. We do, however, work with the Student Assurance Services Company, and if you actually go to the district's website or type in Student Assurance Services, you'll be able to go into their webpage and look at different programs that they have for insurance for your athlete. CASHA does offer a catastrophic insurance policy, and we are involved with CASHA, so your family automatically is enrolled in that. However, the injury has to exceed $25,000. Obviously, for most people, 99.9% of the time, if there's an injury, it's not going to cost $25,000 to fix. So that's why we highly recommend you look into the Student Assurance Services Company for any accidental insurance you may want. Eligibility. In the middle school, guys, like the high school, you must be passing 5 classes, but unlike the high school, it's per quarter, not semester. Every week, starting from the first day of practice, we will have or first day of school, I should say, we will have a weekly failure list. The first week that a student does not pass 5 classes, they will be put on a probationary status. They'll still be able to practice, still be able to compete, but if they are ineligible 2 weeks in a row, they will start missing games. Students must have all their late work turned in by Friday at 8 a.m. so teachers have time to grade it. And the eligibility week runs from Tuesday through Monday. So if you are ineligible the previous week, on Monday you become eligible. You'll be able to participate in practice and games that week. Also, riding home with parents, as I've talked about, guys, because of COVID, we are really struggling with making sure that we have enough space in between our kids, and there's just no guarantee that we're going to be able to do that. So we are encouraging you to take your kids to and from sports if you can. Here's that transportation release form that's on the website, and as you can see here, you literally can fill in the information. Just put in your the games for the year. In fact, you can put all the games for the year and sign off on it, and I will approve it, and they'll have, it's a one-time form with the list of all the games that you'll be transporting your child to, and that will take care of it for the year. If you want to do this, please keep the coach in the loop, and we will give them a copy of all the permission forms that we receive so they know. You need to make sure that you contact the coach when you're taking your child just to make sure that they are aware, and you are responsible for any in-town transportation, including games and practices. So if we compete with Lakewood, you'll be responsible for getting your child there. And if we happen to practice at Bill Burke or somewhere there, you may have to be responsible for getting your child there. Your coaches will talk about that at their parent meeting. Drug and alcohol policy. We are very consistent, and we take this seriously, guys. So, bullet point number 1. This prohibits the use and possession of drugs and alcohol or tobacco for anyone that's participating in the sport at South Middle School. First offense is a 5-day suspension from practice and games and long-term expulsion hearing. If it happens a second time, they will be dismissed from the team for the season. We take this seriously, especially at the middle school, and please know that administration has the right to deny participation in extracurricular activities for the remainder of the school year if we choose. Impact testing, we will have impact testing. However, as bullet 2 number says, this will be available for our students again this year, but it will be optional, and it can be done from home. I will send more information out as soon as I get more info from the district to let you know how you can take the impact test at home for this upcoming year. We do not have an athletic trainer, guys. We're not like the high school. We do not have that. So if your child has an injury, please work through your physician and communicate through your coach. Athletes cannot return to practice or play without a doctor's release if they've been injured or they've had a concussion. Coaches at the middle school will always err on the side of caution with injuries, concussions, and medical conditions. So if they ask you to bring a note, it's because I'm asking the coaches to do that, because I'd rather be safe than sorry. That's a lot of information, guys. Please know that there will be fall sports parent meetings, but they will be done via Zoom, and it will be posted on the website, and we will communicate via social media once we know when every fall sports Zoom meeting will occur. If you have any questions, don't be hesitate to call me, Mr. Bonilla at South Middle School, and or your coach, and I hope you have a successful year. Go Cougars.